You're listening to the NC F&B podcast, part of the OG Podcast Network. The NC F&B podcast takes you behind the scenes of North Carolina's food and beverage industry. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at NCFBpod. This episode sponsored in part by Food Scene. That's foodseen.com, providing professional photography, social media management, video production, and website design. And now, enjoy the show.
Hello, and thank you for listening to the NC F&B podcast. I am your co-host, Max Trujillo.
And I am your co-host, Matthew Weiss. And get ready to listen to the deep bass tones of the owner-proprietor of Alley 26 in Durham, barman extraordinaire, sommelier, and now restaurateur, Mr. Shannon Healy.
I feel like the movie Ray Charles, where like he got his hype man. Matthew, you are sold.
You feel good? You feel ready? It's better than the Tanqueray and Wild Turkey from last night, huh?
Better. I don't know.
Better, I don't know.
Matt can go on tour with you, you know.
Okay, exactly.
Well, let's start right off there.
Yeah.
So, failed frontman.
That's true. That's
Failed
100%.
frontman.
That's 100% true.
So, what happened there?
Explain.
Okay. I was in bands for years. Just about 12. Maybe a little more than that.
A baker's dozen.
You were singing or and playing guitar? Or
No, just singing.
Just singing. Are you a trained singer?
No. God, no. I'm married an opera singer, so now I don't have to sing at all.
Nice.
So what was the music? I'm thinking like what, Tom Jones meets Stevie Wonder kind of stuff? What were you doing?
It's so unusual.
Yeah.
It's not unusual.
It's not unusual.
It's not unusual at all.
To love someone? That's a common thing. Yeah.
No, when we moved here, kind of whiny white boy rock. It was the mid '90s,
Whiny white boy rock.
Oh.
Very whiny white boy.
Lightning crashes and old mother dies.
Well, we weren't doing covers, but it was in that genre. Certainly. Yeah. It was definitely in that genre.
Throwback to live, throwing copper.
Wow,
I love that song.
Yeah, of course you do.
At any rate, and then we were here for a while, and as that band started to break up, myself and the guitarist decided we were going to keep playing, but we didn't necessarily want to continue in that genre. So we wanted to have more fun. So we basically put together a funk band, which grew into an 8 to 10 piece band.
Yeah.
With a horn section, which was a lot of fun when that's chugging on all cylinders. That's amazing.
I was in a funk band.
Oh, yeah?
I was the token white boy.
Yeah,
in an
I
all
was
black.
I was kind of one of the two token white guys, but it was my band. No, I started. We started playing, and then we started getting guys in from Central. The drummer we had playing with us, who now is a drummer professionally.
What do you mean getting him in from Central?
We were like a 4-piece, then we grew to a 5-piece, and then my drummer Yaji Hamden, who is a drummer professionally now in Las Vegas. That's a lie. Los Angeles. That's the one. I was a little lost there. Yaji's like, I want you to hear this, and he brought Al Strong in. Who was his roommate, I want to say, and then he brought in like Mike Chambers, who was a sax player, and then he brought in I forget Andrew's last name. We always called him Wheezy.
Hopefully he wasn't the singer.
He was not. I was.
That was you. Yeah.
And so he was a trombone player, and then
Got it.
So anyway, once you heard that, it was hard to not want to hear that all the time.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing when you play with real musicians? No, I've played with guys that could just transpose anytime. You know who's a phenomenal musician and kind of local talent, not in the food industry, but is kind of well known, is Penn Holderness.
Oh,
that's
the famous YouTube videos.
Yeah, the Holderness family, and Inez Rubistello is a cousin to Penn. In my Christmas jammies.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So our kids go to the same school, and we've known them for years. They're really good people. But we were at their holiday party. Penn busts out the piano. I get on his guitar. And I just thought, okay, we'll throw some like Christmas tunes down, whatever. He's doing the same thing. Oh, Max, let's drop this down 2 keys down to this, so that now we can sing like here. And then, hey, well, let's do this one, and blah, blah, blah. And he just reeled off anything you wanted. He's like, I've never played that before, but let's see, I could probably figure it out. Doon, 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 doon. Here we go, blah, 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 blah. And just jammed on the piano. I'm like, this guy's a music savant.
It's
pretty amazing.
Yeah, I don't play anymore because, as I said, I realized at a certain point with that many people, it was more administration than creativity.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not actually having any fun at all. I'm going to stop doing this. So that's when I stopped. But I had the good fortune to marry my wife, which is a good person to marry. You should always marry your wife.
Well, we can't marry her now. She's taken.
Exactly. You should marry your wife.
Right. Done.
Exactly. My wife, Andrea Moore Healy, is an opera singer. So through her, I've had the good fortune to meet many people like that who just like, oh, that's what you meant by musician.
Yeah. Not the campfire guy with the acoustic guitar.
No, this is a different band. It's a whole different sport.
Yeah.
It's, oh, shit.
So you were saying offline or online, I'm not exactly sure in what universe we were in at that point, but that you were not having fun playing music and you were stubborn and you should have given it up like 5 or 6 years. But also tell us that music brought you to North Carolina also?
Yeah, I moved here in 95.
From?
From Gainesville, Florida.
Okay.
Because most of the guys in the band
are you a
I was
Gator
in,
fan or you don't care?
I went to college at University of Florida. Yes, in fact, I am a Florida Gator fan.
Interesting.
I'm not their best fan.
It's not going to go well out here.
Because I'm not necessarily... I bartend in a bar that I intentionally built with no TVs.
Right.
So... people fascinate me that are into like fantasy football. I'm like, that's really interesting. You have time for that shit.
Well, it's all at the click of a button these days.
I won our league this year.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have time for that shit. That's amazing to me.
I make time, man. Priorities.
I run a business and have a wife and a 2-year-old. I don't have time to care.
Oh,
Fantasy
seriously.
football is Dungeons and Dragons for sports nerds.
Back to your story.
Yes, sir. Sorry
and
about
so, no, that was great, but it gives an impression to like the kind of conversation one would have with Shannon Healy at the bar at Alley 26 because you're quite the opinionated person. But
That's not usually phrased so gently.
no, but it's well-founded and obviously thoughtful and intelligent, so it makes fun for everybody to have a conversation with you. But we still didn't get the story about, so you came to North Carolina with this band. We don't know how you got, we know the backstory of working at Crook's Corner for 12 years.
So before that, I worked at Grady's American Grill.
Grady's?
Yeah.
Where was that?
Well, good. I'm so glad you asked. Brinker, who is Chili's, Maggiano's,
Okay. Large chain
Macaroni
restaurants.
Grill. Yeah, they're the second largest food company in the world. I believe their ticker symbol is EAT. So I think they've got a portion
I think they bought a bunch of license plates in California too. Total sidebar, and I told Max this once. I don't know if this is. Have you ever noticed? And this just occurred to me. Like speaking of brain and being aware of your surroundings, since we've started this podcast, I seriously see like 1 to 2 at minimum license plates a day that start with EAT in North Carolina. Check it out.
I have not noticed that.
I have not noticed
You will
that
now
either.
notice it.
I am destined to notice
Yeah.
that.
Anyway, Brinker.
Oh, anyway, so they opened, and they build all brand new buildings, pretty much, unless they can't. So, like, the Chili's in your town is built for Chili's by Chili's to their spec. So when they built ones in Durham, they built Chili's, and next door to it, when they tore the trips down, they built the On the Border, I guess, that was there for about 6 or 7 years. That now is an actual Mexican restaurant. And then they built Macaroni Grill, and next to that, they built Grady's American Grill. Because they build them in twos, because one's going to be more popular. And if you're going to lose people because your line's too long, you might as well lose them to
your
yourself.
own business, yeah.
So, like,
Love that corporate mindset. It's so great.
so yeah.
Which is just the reason to get into later that you built the restaurant, right? It's like people got hungry at the bar, you needed to go to a restaurant.
Kinda.
I kid, but
Kinda. No, but you
Yeah.
kid, but kinda.
Grady's is deep into his brain.
yeah, seriously.
Yeah. I had this conversation with a lot of bartenders one time, where we were all sitting around, and as it turns out, everybody started bartending while they were trying to do their real thing.
Right. Sure.
And these
Same,
are the-
same here, same
Yeah.
there.
Well,
yeah.
we're trying to do a real thing, but these were all bartenders currently.
Oh,
You
right.
know, like, so it was me and Brad from Nana's Steak and like a bunch of folks. We were all bartenders. We were like all talking about, now what we're really doing was this. And then we all had the same epiphany at some point or another. Like, actually, no, this is my real job.
Right.
Like, this is what I do for a living.
Right.
I think Brad at that meeting said it best when his wife was like, why do you say I'm just a bartender, or like skim over that? This is your job. It pays our mortgage. Like, what are you not proud of?
Yeah. Good point.
I said that to every actor/server that was that I managed back in California, because every server typically is an actor or waiting to be an actor.
I'm actually an actor.
And it's like, I loved shitting on all these guys' points at bars or so when they're picking up a girl. So what do you do? He's like, I act. I'm like, you act like a server at Cafe Del Rey. Because that's what actually pays your bills. So.
Yeah, but you were in the same boat. I mean, you were trying to be a musician, or you were a musician and bartending at the same time.
Yeah, but I was, see, that's the difference. And maybe Shannon can back me up on this. And it's the one problem that I had, because I like to act. I acted for a short while, but I really was more of a musician growing up. You can say you're a musician if you at least gig every now and then.
Right.
Yeah. Going to acting class and not getting a job, like not getting a gig, it's kind of hard to say you're an actor. It's like, so you act at school or in an acting class and you go to auditions, but if you don't get the job, then you're not really an actor. If you acted once, could you still say? Because I've acted a few times, but I would never call myself an actor. So I don't know. I mean, at least
if you
played
got
on stage
paid for acting a few times,
I don't know. Like I feel it's fine. You can self-identify as whatever your heart desires, but if you're using that as a pickup line, like the next,
you should have an IMDb page.
Well, maybe not, but maybe you should maybe lead with your strong suit. Like if you're going to say I'm an actor and she's actually interested or he's actually interested in your conversation, they're going to ask, so what have you been in?
Right.
And if the
very Japanese tea commercial,
if the second thing out of your mouth is nothing, maybe you should lead with I wait tables.
Yeah. Or I'm trying to be an actor.
Yeah.
Currently, I pay the bills by waiting tables.
I'm all about managing expectation, like in everything.
Yeah.
I've been accused of trying to talk people out of working for me. And they're like,
you don't want to be here.
No, well, honestly, yes. Yes. I often
You're
have
too
that.
good for this.
No.
Not too good for this, but
no, I see what you're trying to get this job for, because you want to do this. You have a day job.
Yeah.
Okay, but we're open till 2.
Yeah.
7 days a week, unless it's slow, and then we're open till 2.
Yeah, your other boss doesn't need you dragging ass in the morning, and I definitely don't need you dragging ass here from your day job.
Exactly. So it's
like a commitment.
If your day job is like a day job and it starts at 10 and it's like a part-time thing, do whatever you want. But if you apply to work at a bar that's open till 2 a.m. that cleans till 3:30 every night.
Yeah.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and if you're applying, you're not just going to get the early shifts.
Right.
Hey, you, new person, are definitely going to have to close some night a week.
Yeah.
And staying awake, what I tell everybody, staying awake is not a problem. Anybody can stay awake.
That's not a skill? No one puts that on a resume?
Well, you'd be surprised. People want credit for everything now. But
Microsoft, PowerPoint, stay awake.
Well, staying awake till 4.
Only need 3.5 hours for sleep.
Yeah, that I'd take.
Yeah.
I don't really want to meet that person, actually.
Seriously, they're cranky.
The problem is staying awake is not a problem. Even working late is not a problem. The problem is like adjusting your entire life around the fact that you actually can't get up.
Yeah.
And you can't describe the same moral emphasis to certain hours of the day, because people will start calling you at 8:30 even if you went to bed at 6.
Right.
And you have to be able to no, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah.
I know that you think I should be awake because it's already 11 a.m., but I went to sleep at 6.
Yeah.
So maybe I do need more than 4.5 hours of sleep.
I have that realization with, when we do the NC F&amp bar, we'll like pop up as a pop-up bar, help out and do charity events and such. But a lot of the guys that have worked with us, and even actually Rob Mariani, who is one of your employees.
And partner.
Yes. And we can get into that in a little bit. But Rob even helped us out for a little bit at Lambstock when we did the whole thing. But what's funny is guys like Matthew Bettinger, Steven Sink, Baron Hauk, these guys bartend late, and then I have kids, so I get up at 6:30 every morning, and so my brain's already going by 8 a.m. and so now I'm texting them or emailing them, and then I finally get a response from them like at 2 p.m. and they're like, "Bro, you know I didn't get to bed till like 4:30, right? I bartend." It's like
4:30.
Yeah.
No, he didn't get out of work until 4:30.
Yeah.
Could you imagine but just take that as if he was a day walker and he got out of work at 4:30. Does he go to bed at 5?
No, you're too amped up.
No, you go to bed at the earliest 6:37 if you get out of work at 4:30.
Yeah, you work 9 to 5. Do you go to bed at 6?
Exactly.
No.
It's funny when you're having this conversation, it sounds really whiny, but you're having this conversation with people for your entire career as a bartender. because they will never, even if you explain to them in math, like, and use their life as an example.
Yeah.
It does. They're like, oh, they'll agree with you, but then they'll call you tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they've been up for 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care what you've done.
Yeah, but then there's also some people who just like, I'm just sending this out to you. I don't necessarily expect you to respond. I'm an early riser. That doesn't mean you are,
that's
but
fine.
I'm just, you know.
But those people should stop dialing.
Yeah. Right. You can send me an email.
Email's fine.
Don't call me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
We partnered up with Triangle Wine Company because these guys are awesome. They offer weekly wine tasting events, a wide range of wine and beers from around the world, and an easy online store to find the wines that you'd like. They also offer pickup, local delivery, and shipping. We even set up a promo code NCFB so you can receive 10% off all future purchases.
Go to trianglewineco.com or one of their 3 locations, and for $99, pick up the NC F&B 6-pack, which includes 3 white wines, 3 red wines, and we threw an official NC F&B hat in the bag.
So once again, buy your wine online or in-store at the Triangle Wine Company and use our promo code NCFB during checkout to receive 10% off your future wine and beer purchases. Go to trianglewineco.com or click the top of our website at ncfbpodcast.com.
So we kind of get the backstory, but
I'm very curious. I want to talk about Cook's Corner because you worked at Cook's Corner for a long time.
12 years, yeah.
And Bill Smith is a legend.
He should be.
And we've talked to so many people around him that he really did help mold and define the culinary area of this place, and he's got to be on the show at some point.
Yeah.
You should get him. He's a fantastic guest.
Yeah, and
he's been on State of Things a goodly number of times.
Yeah,
nice.
He's just a sweet person. You know, every time I've met with him, he always remembers me too, and that's the thing that I always find fascinating is that I think I only introduced myself one time 3 years ago, and it wasn't that. I was just a guest. Yeah, I just came in. And I'm like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. I just moved here from Los Angeles. This place is amazing. My name's Max Trujillo. Cool. 7 months later, I saw him at an event, and he's like, yeah, we've met before, right? I go, yeah. He's like, Max. Like, how the hell do you remember me?
He's amazing.
There's also no way that you just said that and left it there. So I'm sure there was a more memorable moment that he remembered.
Big mouth. You didn't leave it at that.
True statements.
I didn't know I was doing the podcast with the old married couple.
I know people are laughing right now. They're like, that's right, Max is Chatterbox. So
no, he's wonderful. Before anybody had a phone on them that had the computer in their hand, we didn't look things up online. We just asked Bill.
Ask Bill. Yeah.
His depth of knowledge is insane. Like, it's really, really insane.
It's like Bill is synonymous with Google.
Basically, yeah.
Just Bill that.
We didn't know Google was going to be a verb yet.
Right.
We just asked Bill.
Right.
We weren't asking Jeeves. We were asking Bill.
Yeah.
Right.
But so working 12 years at any place in the food and beverage industry is like working 4 lifetimes. I look
Which
at
is
it.
interesting because Crooks is built for that. Like, when I was there like 8 or 9 years, and I was managing the floor, and I realized that there's 4 waiters on the floor, and all of them are more senior here than I am.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Like, and there's still to this day. There's Betsy's been there. I don't want to put numbers on things, but it's been a couple of decades. Betsy, Gail, Lawrence.
That's right. If she's that old, she doesn't know what a podcast is.
She knows what a podcast is.
Sorry, Betsy.
Bill's been there over 20 years. I can name at least 5 people that have been there at least or knocking on the door of 20 years. And these are like...
That's fascinaing.
Besides Bill and
that's
Gene.
telling of the environment that was created there at Crooks.
Bill's, as a former employee of mine and friend, Louise Calhoun, said...
Yeah.
She's like, Bill spoiled me.
She's going to be on the podcast in 2 weeks.
Oh, good. This was relayed to me, but I could definitely hear her voice in it by Victoria Boulibasis, who did a little article, was doing an article.
That's how you say her name. Oh, my God.
Yes, it's not Bouillabaisse. No, it's Boulibasis, and she's lovely. And she was telling me that she had just interviewed Louise, and Louise said this about Bill, like, he spoiled her for chefs because she thought that's what a chef was. And then she left there, and the first asshole she worked for was, she's like, oh, this guy's an asshole. And then the next one, she's like, oh, this guy's an asshole.
She worked for John May?
Well done.
I'm going to leave that one alone.
It's like Matt Damon and Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay.
TV's John May.
Yeah.
Okay. TV's John May. That's fantastic.
Speaking of which, and I was going to say it later, but since we're already talking May talk, when we did the pork and rum dinner somewhat recently in January, John was the chef for the dinner we held at Piedmont. And there's some interesting news happening now with John May and Piedmont. But
he's not there anymore.
He's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Correct. That's the interesting news.
It's like Trump's White House. No, I kid. He's not there anymore.
So, I wonder if that means that John May is the new chef at Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, there you go. Wouldn't that be perfect?
So we ate.
Wow, you guys are merciless with this guy.
But we went to John and I met to discuss the menu at Alley 26, and we had cocktails, and then we had food. And I always recommend. I say it's good advice to live by when dining. Dine with a chef. Because then other chefs will see said chef in the dining room, and your chef, she was like, "Oh, hey, John's here," and you,
yeah, Carrie's good like that.
Carrie, yeah, it's just like, "Hi, who are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, never mind me." So, but then we proceeded to have an amazing meal and just charcuterie and Scotch egg, and there were greens there too. We weren't just fully decadent, and we had an amazing menu, and it really blew my mind to talk about the culinary side of Alley 26, and we're getting there.
Yeah, we
might
as
well just get there.
To be fair though, she's definitely a chef in that like there's a salad on the menu called mandatory green salad.
Yes.
And she calls it that because I told her, no, you need to put a salad on the menu. It can't all be bacon and fried eggs.
So that's a middle finger to you, essentially. Yes. Very nicely put.
Yes.
And that I love that because Carrie has that edge to her.
You mean my Jersey girl? Yeah, she's definitely got that edge.
Well, her history speaks, to what her skill level is too, because she was at Tabla and she was at Gramercy Tavern in New York. Then she came out here, worked at Sous Chef at One, then G2B, then Bar Virgile, and now here. So
yes, exactly.
Obviously can't hold the job very long, so she keeps bouncing around.
That's what I said. Yeah.
No, but those are some of the best restaurants on the East Coast, and she's working for you and designing a pretty phenomenal menu.
She's doing great. Yeah, I wasn't surprised that. I mean, I was surprised that she's working for me, but I wasn't surprised that people are like, oh my god, people say this all the time. They're like, man, how do you come up with all this food? I'm like, I hired well.
Yeah,
I didn't come up with this food. What are you kidding me?
But that's what a good business owner does. I mean, even in a band, right? You had great musicians. You talked about that. I'm sure that had something to do with how you view even your own self-worth. If you're going to do this, you're not going to do it with a bunch of schmucks.
No.
If I'm going to be in a band, I'm going to get the best musicians possible.
No, exactly.
If I'm going to run a bar.
I said this years ago when I was in a band. I'm like, I need to be the least talented member of this band.
Yeah.
Because if I'm paying people to play music, musicians are cheap. Look, why am I going to hire somebody?
You mean like tippers?
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
they
yes,
can be.
But more, they're just, it's not that expensive to hire a really, really talented musician versus somebody who just thinks he's good.
Right.
So why wouldn't you hire talent? And it's the same thing in bars, and it's the same thing with my chef, specifically, Carrie, is I was of the impression, like, why would I, people are like, oh, so what do you tell her to do? I'm like, I don't give her a lot of direction, actually. I'm not in the process of hiring somebody that's more talented than I am at something and telling them how to do it.
Well, it's like the old Steve Jobs quote, right? It's like we hire people that are smarter than us so that we don't have to tell, or something like hiring smart people and then telling them what to do makes no sense.
Exactly.
So I'm bastardizing the quote, but that's the gist.
I don't know that quote, but that's my philosophy with hiring people like a chef.
Yeah.
Or a horn player.
Yeah, you don't know that skill, but they do. So you got to trust. The only thing that you can do is provide them like the design, the context of what you want to do, and be like, now just go sick on whatever you need.
Hi, this is Mike Coscarelli from Anxiety Now.
And Andrea Allen from the Hot Mess Comedy Hour.
We just launched the brand new OG Podcast Network and wanted to let you know that you can hear ours and other great shows by going to ogpodcastnetwork.com.
Also, be sure to follow the network on social media to keep up to date with new shows, videos, and live events.
That's at OG Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Or you can subscribe to your favorite OG podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
That's a beautiful thing.
So let's put some context to this, because as we've jumped in, so you started Alley 26, was initially a cocktail bar in 2012?
So I started in September of 2012. I should say I started in, I don't know when I started, in 2009 or 10. thinking, Gene Hamer, who's the owner of Crook's Corner and has been for 36 years now, been there since the beginning because he's the owner. That's how it works.
Yeah.
You're a lifer. They call you that for a reason. And if you're lucky to do something for 36 years, that's crazy talk.
So you would have been there for exactly 1/3 of the life.
Well, I'd been there for almost half at the time that I left.
Yeah.
But he turned to me one day and he's like, you should open a bar. I'll help you.
So
Okay.
Gene said that.
Gene said those words to me. And I said, okay. I was thinking about getting out of food and beverage or getting into more of like the sales side or going back to like getting an MBA. I was wondering what I was going to do next.
Make that folk album you always wanted to do?
Never. No, I love folk music. I'm sure there's plenty of lovely folk people listening out there.
You're going to have to play something on the banjo later.
So Gene said, you should start a bar. So then I started writing my business plan.
Like out of the blue, he just said to you that one day?
It's just
this is in a like manager meeting where...
No, we were walking down the street, actually. We were walking between our office and back to the restaurant because every day, Crook's changes their menu daily. If you go tonight to Crook's Corner, today's date will be on the menu.
Nice.
Like, that is part of what has kept that restaurant so valid and important in my mind. And a lot of people don't know that. They think, oh, shrimp and grits.
Yeah.
It's like, okay... But anybody that works there, like we've had shrimp and grits, and it's amazing. And every few months I'll have it and be like, oh yeah, there's a reason why we're famous. But I'm more excited about what they do, what Bill is doing in the kitchen. That is like stuff that little old ladies walked in the back door with produce. And like, can you use these figs? He's like, I can. So like that is the stuff that they do very well, and that has informed the bar. The idea of changing as often as I can, or have to, because I have to buy my spirits through the ABC, is like fundamental to the concept of the bar, of Alley 26. Anyway, Gene said, I'll help you. And then as I was doing my due diligence, trying to find a place and trying to find that, we had the bad fortune, good fortune of being in the middle of a recession. Bad fortune because you can't get any money from the bank. Good fortune because I wasn't going to get any money as a first-time business owner from a bank anyway.
Right.
So it took me a while to A, raise money, and B, it took me a while to... learn how to read a lease properly. So having, when somebody hands you a 41-page lease, a boilerplate commercial lease is like 9 to 12 pages. So anything after those, that's not for you. That's not helping you out.
Someone's getting something over on you.
Well, or somebody's getting somebody over on them, actually. Because the first one I read was Green Fire, when they were still a thing in downtown Durham, and they owned half the real estate downtown for a bit. And you could clearly see that they'd given this lease to several lawyers because, like, I couldn't take the toilets with me. Was in there like literally 4 times. And I'm like, can we just say this once? That's the law. If it's a fiction, I can't take it with me anyway.
They must have had a problem.
Yeah, somebody took some toilet bowls. Or just the seats. I'm not sure.
I was just like, can we take this out? They're like, no, it's not in there 4 times. And I had to read the people back their own lease. Like, and this whole part about like if the delivery driver is parked wrong, I'm like, that's not even my employee. I cannot be
responsible
for that. Oh, okay, we'll take that. I'm like, why is it in there? Like, why is it even in there?
Yeah.
Like, the first leases I read were like death by 1,000 cuts. And also, like, and this is a horribly unimportant thing for F&B, but F&B folks that actually own businesses have to know this part. Like, if you sign a lease that's bad, people are like, oh, I don't know why I went out of business. The rent went up. No, the rent didn't just go up.
Yeah.
Like, that's something you negotiate.
Yeah.
I signed a 7-year lease with 2 7-year extensions and then added another extension when we took over the other side for the kitchen, because if I believe in Durham, which I do, and did when it was the dark end of a dark street I opened a bar on, then I believe it's going to be more valuable to be here in 3 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, if it is more valuable, wouldn't I expect the rent to be more?
Right.
Like, so why don't I sign a lease that's for as long as I believe in this project?
Yeah, because
It's
otherwise
funny, though,
you're just half-assing.
But the rent only goes down or up, not during a rent cycle. Like, so if you sign a lease for 7 years, you know what your rent's going to be all 7 years. Now, it escalates during that period, but that's in the lease.
Yeah, it's a percentage increase every year, whatever you discussed.
Exactly. So whatever, not you didn't discuss, whatever you signed.
Correct.
So like, what have you negotiated? So that's in there. So that is the thing that took me 3 years to do. Like, the business side of it took me 3 years because I had to borrow money from friends. And I couldn't, in good faith, sign that 41-page lease that was death by 1,000 cuts, where I'm in default of my lease if somebody who's not my employee parks wrong. Like, so it took me forever to do it, and a lot of my friends thought he's just talking. Rick Palau, who works at Lantern and has for forever, likes to recall the story of the fact that he's like, we started to believe he wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, because you started this conversation in like 2008, 2009. You didn't open until 2012.
2012, exactly.
But you did your due diligence, and that's what many people don't do, and that's why you were able to be successful and then expand, and now you're on the podcast. So clearly,
now I've made it.
You're successful. So we should take a moment. Let's do something that's ridiculous and fun. So we didn't talk about this yet on the podcast, but Shannon is bombarded on his seat with, I don't know, roughly 15 to 20 bottles of booze, primarily North Carolina. And I do have some Amaros in there that come from Italy because that's where they're from. That's where they're generally made. There's some scotch, but no, we've represented a quite nice array of booze. I even freshly squeezed some lime juice and some lemon juice. I got you some egg whites. We have crude bitters over there. We even have our own little tincture we made.
Do you not have any Alley 26 tonic?
Well, he should be rolling with it everywhere he is.
He
right?
should be rolling with it.
Rob
everywhere.
Mariani is pissed. He's calling in right now.
Yeah, I actually perhaps. So we're gonna do a little segment right now, and if it gets like really boring and lull,
Shamefully, I should be rolling with LA26 tonic.
we will we'll like cut and make this a little tighter. But Matt had a great idea, and this is a new segment on the podcast.
Get to work, bitch.
Hang on. We don't really have a name for it, so maybe it's a thing like we'll throw out a couple of names, and then maybe it's a social media campaign where like best name gets something.
We'll have to put like a poll out there. So the idea of the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, you tell it because it's your idea.
Think newlywed game, and Max and I think we know each other pretty well.
I'd have to say in the butt, Bob.
One of the greatest answers. Where's the craziest place you've made whoopee?
Yeah. Nice. So we thought, how do we tie that to the culinary world? And Max and I play this funny game of like, what's he going to order? Maybe that's just the name. But
I said, you'll have what I'm having.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was a funny name. Or know your host or whatever. But the idea is that we pick a restaurant.
You choose.
Yeah, we pick a menu from a restaurant that's timely for the topic of whatever episode we're on, and we take a little bit of time and we look through the menu, and I basically pick what I think my co-host is going to have, from a cocktail to a glass of wine to an entree to also even maybe an appetizer, and we'll just circle them on the actual printed menu and then exchange notes and see how well we did and go from there.
Well, we won't exchange notes. We'll reveal, and then we'll tell you whether you're wrong or right.
Yeah,
and you guys can play along with us because it's going to be the Alley 26 menu, which I assume is online, right?
It is online.
It is online because I printed it out earlier today, and I have your menus here. Voila.
Nice.
Here, that one's the one with your name on it. So we have the menu. Hopefully this is like an actual menu you guys are even doing right now. And
it should be, yeah. We update the menu.
Yeah. And so...
When did you print it out?
This morning.
Oh, yes, it's current. It'll be current for another few hours.
There we go. And so during this time, Matt and I want a cocktail, Mr. Healy.
Okay.
Yes.
And so treat us like we're at your bar. We've provided you whatever. There's ice down below, and there's shakers to your left-hand side on the ground.
Just like I keep them at the bar, on my left on the ground.
And for this segment, glassware and a lot of the materials have been generously provided by Luigi Bormioli, which is a brand that is distributed through Bauscher Hep USA, a local distributor in the area, and good friends of ours. And so you can pick whatever fancy glass you would like to use.
I was going to make fun of that for sounding like a plug, but it actually was a plug.
It kind of is. And so
this is how this thing works.
So Bauscher is a company that's based out of Germany, and they are well over 100-year-old company. And
I think they're going to make it.
And Hep is a flatware company that's also out of there. And so
sounds like something you can catch.
Yeah,
I got a little Hep. A, B, C. What did you?
Yeah, what's a Canadian have? Hep, eh? But anyhow, so we have plateware, they have flatware, they have glassware, and they're a local company. I used to use them when I was at Midtown Grill, and a bunch of great restaurants in the town use them. They're friends of ours, and so we like using their stuff at times. So feel free to make us a drink. Perhaps pretend like we are dicks and we don't know anything.
Pretend.
Yeah. Do you want to do a little, because you do have a thing of what you ask the people,
it's not like script, although we've had to kind of script it for hiring new people who don't really understand what's like.
Yeah. All right. So role play with me for a minute.
Okay.
I come into your bar. You don't know me from anybody. And I'm like, I don't really know what I want.
Okay. Well, what I usually do is try to learn who the person is.
Yeah.
Or at least what they're in the mood for. And I'm like, so what are you in the mood for? And
Yeah.
they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay.
So I'll tell you this. My drink lately that I've been going to is a last word, but substituting mezcal for gin.
Okay. Mezcal last word, you could just say.
Mezcal last word.
And
There you
everybody
go.
will understand exactly what you mean.
Except for non-bartenders. Last word is chartreuse, lime juice, luxardo, and gin traditionally.
Exactly.
So kick the gin, replace with mezcal, and
You
it's
can
equal parts of
plug
each.
and play, or Mr. Potato Head, or however you want to say.
I like that.
Do that. So certain.
So I don't
drinks-
think we have any mezcal today, and we probably don't have any luxardo here.
I have tequila and a
Okay, which is also really tasty.
But you kind of get the idea. I don't really want sweet. I like the...
But you don't mind some sweetness. You're not afraid of the idea. It's not like a Hemingway, oh, I like it dry. Oh, wait a minute, I'm actually a diabetic. That's why I'm
I would
alcoholic
prefer
diabetic.
as less sugar or sweetness as possible to make a balanced cocktail.
Which is interesting because the cocktail you're referencing is it's interesting for two reasons. A, it's equal parts. So it's the perfect fodder, like a Negroni, last word. These are perfect drinks to do the swap out of ingredients because everything the structure is perfect to do that, and you can.
So I've given you a good canvas.
It's a great one to do that with because I can take this you can just think about a combination lock.
Yeah.
This has got 4 spots.
Nice.
But each of those spots could be anything. So we can get you somewhere in the ballpark, or get you something that I know you're going to like. But you also chose a cocktail by saying. Now, this is a little geeky, and it's not part of the role play. But
No, but this is
But
good.
what you've done is say, I don't like sugar sweetness. But you've ordered a cocktail where 2 of the 4 ingredients are liqueurs.
But chartreuse and luxardo.
Luxardo is amazingly sweat.
Yeah, I
Chartreuse
guess.
has actually got a great sweetness, but the reason it works,
Yeah.
Don't you like how Shannon just basically said, you're wrong?
No, I appreciate the
reason it
correction.
works is that there's a few ways to make something less sweet. Mm-hmm. You can add less sugar. Mm-hmm. You can add something acidic or bitter, something to balance it, or you can add more booze. And chartreuse is 110 proof.
Right.
Like green chartreuse is 55 ABV. So it functions a little bit as the spirit at the same time.
Right.
Even though it's a liqueur and it's a sweetened liqueur. So that's another reason that drink is so interesting. Because people will mess with final wards and stuff. People will substitute.
What's a final ward?
Final ward is Phil Ward, who opened My Well. I think he was still at Death & Co. at the time, came up with the final ward, which was his Mr. Potato Head of last word.
Okay.
His last name is Ward, so it worked.
There you go.
But he made it with rye and yellow chartreuse.
Okay.
And lemon instead of lime. So basically use that template.
And Luxardo then. to
and
finish.
Luxardo, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you, by the way, is there any substitute for luxardo?
Yeah.
Or there is.
In Italy, there's...
Cherry herring, right?
No,
you don't want that?
No.
Cherry herrings.
So Luxardo Luxardo is like Chrysler. And you're like, is there any substitute for Chrysler? Chrysler what?
Yeah.
You want like a subcompact? You want a sports
Sebring
car?
300.
Okay, so exactly. Is there any so Chrysler makes all those things. Luxardo makes all those things. Luxardo makes a delicious Fernet. They make good Amaro. They make actually they make a really nice Amaro. They make.
But specifically, we're talking about the luxardo cherry liqueur.
You're talking about maraschino.
Maraschino, yeah.
liqueur because they also make other cherry liqueurs.
Okay.
Products.
The one that's most commonly
The one
known
that's
on the
in the
back
fiasco
bar.
or fiasca or however you say that, that tall, skinny bottle in the wicker wrap, that's a maraschino.
Right.
And yes, there are other maraschino liqueurs. There
Okay.
are other brands of maraschino.
Currently available in North Carolina?
No.
Okay. Of course not.
Wait, did you say North? we don't currently have a Pisco available in North Carolina.
Really?
Pisco. Like a spirit.
There's a Pisco
Yeah.
available in North Carolina.
Really?
I mean,
You want to tell me what that is?
I'd
I'd love to order it.
I know.
I think he's right, man.
I have been ordering one up until like a month ago, but now...
Okay, like there was. Okay,
Oh,
so
sure,
I've been
yeah.
out of the spirits game now for a couple months.
In history, there have been
Yes.
piscos in the book.
Yeah.
Okay, but right now there's currently
not.
no pisco.
So if
Wow.
you limit like the discussion of spirits to what's available in North Carolina, like we're all drinking Jack and Coke. So like, and I don't serve Jack or Coca-Cola in my bar, so it's a very short conversation.
Right.
So at any rate, you chose a good drink to Mr. Potato Head. You clearly like agave spirit. You like a little smoke. That's what that tells me. But you also don't want it to dominate. You're not ordering a spirit-forward cocktail. This is not a stirred drink you're talking about. You're not riffing on a Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
You're riffing on something shaken, something has got sweetness, but it's got really good zip. If you're using fresh lime juice, I love lime because like you have to shake the crap out of it, but it's still I think a drink that has lime juice should be puckering. Mm-hmm. Should make you almost thirst quenching. Should be thirst quenching and actually make you kind of thirsty at the same time because it's puckering.
Mm-hmm.
Like so a good margarita. I always say this at the bar when I'm telling people how to make a margarita is like I like to say I make the perfect skinny girl margarita. I call it the margarita because everything they say they're taking out of a margarita isn't in a fucking margarita.
Right.
Like none of the orange juice and other sweeteners.
Yeah,
that's
how
not in
did
a
that
margarita.
get started?
There's 3 ingredients in a margarita. There's tequila,
lime
triple
juice.
sec, which you should use a good one like Cointreau
Mm-hmm.
because it's 40% ABV. Yes, it's the same alcohol by volume as Jim Beam or Blanton's. It's a spirit.
Yeah.
It's a liqueur rather, but it has enough spine so it can handle like sweet viscosity without being just like adding simple syrup to your drink, and it can handle the lime.
Mm-hmm.
So if you substitute with a crappy triple sec, all of a sudden the triple sec can't handle the lime. And that's why people are like, oh, this drink is too tart. I'm going to add some orange juice, or I got to sweeten it up a bit. Well, yeah, because you used non-alcoholic or 11%.
products.
We lose bad products.
Yeah.
So if you just use
Tequila, lime, and Cointreau would be an
Cointreau's,
ideal margarita.
or Combier orange, but that used to be available in North Carolina.
Would you do Grand Marnier? Could you use that in a pinch?
So Grand Marnier in this country is always Cordon Rouge. And now in Europe, I believe there's limited access to Cordon Jaune, which is their triple sec or their Curacao, which is
a riff off.
They're kissing cousins. They're
Was
not the same
June
thing.
like a yellow spirit?
Yellow, exactly.
Yeah,
It's not a yellow spirit, but the sash that goes across the bottle of Grandma in this country is always red, Cordon Rouge.
Yeah.
Cordon Rouge is actually a blend, so it's a bottled cocktail, like a B&B.
Right.
So Cordon Rouge is actually half brandy and half Curacao.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not just, so it's also 40% ABV. So yeah, you could do it, but and El Presidente at Chili's, I'm sure, uses Grand Marnier.
Yeah. But it's certainly, because of the brandy, there's a higher elevated sugar content as well, no?
No, probably less, actually, because brandy doesn't have as much residual sugar as liqueur. But either way, it's not, you can do it, sure, but is it triple sec? No.
Yeah.
Is it your ultimate skinny girl, the margarita? No.
No.
All right.
Okay,
We'll be here all day. I'm learning things. So this is fantastic.
You'll have to cut a lot of
so,
this. I'm known for my tangents.
Yeah.
Actually, Shannon, this is the first time I liked hearing what you had to say.
It's only taken 52 minutes. But.
We got there. We're now talking some good shit. Hey, everybody. We're going to be out and about in the month of March. March 22nd through the 25th in the Outer Banks for the 2018 OBX Taste of the Beach Festival. It's a 4-day event with tons of food and wine and drink. We're going to be there as judges. We're going to cover the whole thing. It's going to be amazing. There's barbecue showdowns. There's a chowder cook-off. There's a grand tasting. There'll be phenomenal wine and beer and drinks. Amazing food. It's a great festival. So go to obxtasteofthebeach.com for tickets. You can buy individual tickets. You can get ones under $30. You can buy package deals. It's really fun. Great way to spend time with the family. Okay, whatever Matt was thinking, perhaps, and feel free to stand if you need to stand.
I'm going to have to because it's hard to make a drink while sitting.
You can't, and...
is there any liqueur here at all? Or just tomorrow?
There's just tomorrow's.
Okay, no, it's delicious, but that's the opposite thing that he's asking for.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Like I said,
Okay, we're going to make something.
It's a little like Top Chef, Top Bartender here. Like, you got to do it with these ingredients.
Oh, good, thanks. There's like 6 of these 20 bottles that I would actually ever have in my bar.
Motherfucker.
Okay, so back to our segment here. We're doing as if we were in the restaurant today.
Yeah, like I'm ordering for Matt. He's ordering for me. Matt's ordering for Max.
Yeah.
And so pick
then
an
we say
appetizer, pick an entree,
then
and then
a
again,
cocktail
pick a
and a glass of
cocktail.
wine.
Even just do a beer because it's
Yeah.
on there. That way, if you write it down, then there's no changing and we can switch and we'll say like, oh, okay, did we
No
actually...
cheating.
Yeah. All right, so I'm doing a little play-by-play. It looks like Shannon has opted for the Fair Game Apple Brandy. No.
Yeah,
Yeah, the apple
that's
brandy.
Exactly. So here's the thing: North Carolina doesn't have a source of sugar, but people keep opening places and making rum. Some of them do a good job.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of things, but we have a lot of apples.
Oh, yeah. So you can
And
get that
it's-
natural sugar
it's
from
a
there.
traditional thing here. So, and 3 of the best products that we make in the state, 3 of the... I'm leaving Durham Distillery out right this second, but they're the best thing we make here.
Nice.
How's that for a plug? Go Durham. But we have both Carriage House and Fair Game both make really great and very different apple brandies.
Yeah.
So like that's nice for it's fun for a bartender here to play with something that is local but is also good. Like I'm always telling my staff, we are all about local, but we're never going to sacrifice good for local. It's not good enough that it's from here. It has to be
Yeah.
great. So when I first tried the conniption stuff, it was just like, holy shit, this is actually really, really good.
It's good for gin. It's not good for North Carolina.
It's like that Navy strength wasn't the best Navy strength I could get. It's the best Navy strength I've ever tasted.
Wow. There you go.
And I believe it's
Nice.
I think internationally at this point, I'm in the majority.
It's in the argument as one of the best in the nation or in the world.
in the world, yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh,
No, we're big fans of them, and they are definitely leading the charge of some of the best distillers, out there.
They're doing it, and you're right. It's
That's a Trujillo simple syrup right there.
Trujillo simple syrup. I'm just touching. I'm just looking.
Yeah.
Let me see what I got here. Blah, 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 blah.
So, truth be
ice in
told, there are certain liquors that would be on my back bar,
Yeah.
but I've consumed them, and so I need to go back to the store. So, like, you're not, and we love the Lassiter's, and I would have Lassiter's rum on there, but I just made a whole bunch of rum punch recently,
Yeah.
and
Well,
drank it all. So.
It's on my menu. You can choose the Lassiter's.
Yeah, I saw that. So, yeah, I mean, you would endorse them. Obviously, you do on a nightly level. He's reaching for the lemon juice. He's put a little simple syrup in there. He's going back over to the Montenegro Amaro.
I realize this is as we go through this. Like, there's things that I know that you would think that I would get, but I wouldn't necessarily get it just because of this day. Like, I might choose something different. So,
Yeah, I mean,
There's a little thumb in your eye is what he's saying.
No, I felt the same way. I thought, like,
is
Matt's
gonna
going
be
to think I'm going to order this. So I didn't just go with, like, that's fine. I didn't just go with the cliche Max Trujillo selection. I went with what I genuinely would order from
that-
Alley 26 today, right
Yeah.
now, the way
Yeah.
I'm feeling.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you want to go first, or should I go first? You
can go first.
All right.
So
Okay.
we're going to start with food. Or no, let's start with cocktails, because that's what we would start to drink
Yeah.
with, right?
Cool.
I
So-
encourage that kind of behavior.
All right. So,
What did you think Max Trujillo would have for a cocktail at Alley 26?
yeah. So this was kind of like I was between a lot of things, but all in all, I think you would have gone with the old tried and true rye Manhattan.
Boom, you got it right,
Nice,
sir.
one for me.
Yeah, and
And this is going to be a running tab on the show too.
yeah, you got a point.
Yeah, I got a point.
Yeah, I was looking at other things that were on there, and I looked for mezcal because that's your thing. I do see that there's the Flora del Agave with tequila, liquor 43, Dubonnet, lime, egg white. I think that's not your style. I don't know why. I kind of thought, even though it's almost a riff on the last word with the mezcal instead of gin, but I ended up going back to gin because I know you would drink gin at times, and I liked the Respect Your Elderberries Conniption American Dry Gin with locally foraged elderberry syrup, absinthe, and a little bitters.
I looked at that, and I might try that. Sometimes I like gin. I really have to be in a gin mood. I ultimately went with the rye Manhattan as well.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh, tricky motherfucker.
yeah. So
All right.
Some adventurous
So you got a
fellas
point.
ordering rye
Now
Manhattans.
let's select our wine for the night. We'll select our wine
Okay.
for what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I'll go first on this one.
Okay.
This one is just a layup for me because you like this wine because you've sold this wine and you've had this wine before, and you also love Pinot Noir. So I'm going Presqu'île Pinot Noir from Santa Maria Valley.
Max, I think you were overthinking yourself. I mean, that would have been like a natural thought, but like anytime I see Tinoff, sparkling rosé, Burgenland, Austria, I went there.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you select for me?
I selected for you the Garnacha.
Well,
from Spain.
I selected for me the 10 off sparkling rosé.
You guys really are an old married couple. That's the main-
We spend way too much time
Is this
together.
like that O. Henry story about the hairbrushes and the what's the gift of the Magi?
Oh yeah,
you guys-
I brought you hair clips, but you sold your hair so you could buy me
A watch or
a
something.
watch. Yeah, yeah. What did the guy do? Sell his wrist or something? How come he couldn't wear a watch after a while?
Ooh,
that's
cocktail interlude.
Hold on, let's,
Picture time.
Let's get a picture of that. He opted for no garnish. What a waste.
He probably didn't have a garnish.
Yeah,
You have fresh fruit right over there, my
I
friend.
do, but I don't. I think the egg white can count as a garnish.
Why don't you
sometimes.
hold your glass, Matt, since this is your cocktail?
Oh, hold on 1 second. You want to garnish here? Well, let's make it pretty. Sorry.
Yeah. This is Shannon Healy on the fly. Check out our Instagram feed for what he made.
Look at that. I just.
Oh wow.
You couldn't even write my initials on it. I mean,
All right, so tell us what that cocktail is.
It's just it's a sour, basically, with apple brandy as the base, lemon, simple, a little Montenegro just so it's not just one note.
Did you throw egg whites in there too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
get in on
It's got that
that.
little frothiness going on.
and just a couple of dashes of Peychaud.
Nice. See, this is like, instead of bringing a chef to dinner with you, I just brought like the best
Mixologist.
bartender in town and said, yeah, make me a drink at my house.
Yeah. That's what you get when you get the podcast bump.
Ooh, that's delicious.
That is
I like
awesome.
I saw it on TV once.
Do I
let's
get
finish-
a cocktail?
Do you want a cocktail?
I'm
Sure.
much simpler.
Yeah, because you
I
only
like-
left me one shaker set, so let's keep it simple.
Well, you could, yeah. Well, but I do like, I like just standard traditional, like Matt said, I picked the,
Rye Manhattan.
The Rye Manhattan. Anything like that would be fine. I like my dark liquors, and whatever. Yeah, whatever you feel good with.
All right, so in the beer category, back to our segment real quick. I know where you're going to go with this, but I'm just going to give you a heads up.
I'm gonna give you the opportunity.
You're going to be surprised because I wouldn't have. I didn't pick what you would think I
I picked for you Wicked
Yeah.
Weeds Gose.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's like light, fresh,
Gose,
and it's
yeah.
an interesting thing, and it's kind of heady. So I thought maybe you'd go with that.
I appreciate your thinking on that, but only because on Sunday at my house we had those full steam apple ryes.
Oh yeah,
I've been like, I got to drink some more full steam because I really, I don't drink that much
I
beer.
went to Full Steam for the first time ever 2 nights ago.
Right.
And
So
I picked for myself the Full Steam
and I picked for you
Paycheck Pilsner.
the Ponysaurus Scottish Ale because I just thought you would be like, oh, that just looks interesting.
Yeah, I am a fan of that beer, but again, this isn't going
All
so
right.
well.
No, we don't know each other. Apparently, we don't know each other, or we're over. I don't even know you anymore.
The funny thing is you've picked wrong for each other, but you've picked the same things as each other. Like
Yeah.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the rye, like the
We're all in the same category.
no, you're ordering you would have ordered the same things as each other.
Right.
Oh yeah, and that happens too.
You would have
yeah.
guessed what the other person was going to guess,
But
was going to
it's
have
what I
wrong.
wanted. Yeah.
But you would both actually order the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So,
Going on. Go ahead.
Appetizers.
Appetizers.
All
What
right.
are you doing?
So for me, I picked the deviled eggs. What did you have for me?
I picked. You would have picked the deviled eggs.
Boom, point for Max.
Yep.
I picked you. I don't know. I think there's some Scottish in your DNA somewhere. I picked the
5%.
Scotch egg.
I too went with the deviled eggs. I thought you and I would both go deviled
Son of a
eggs.
bitch. And again, you just proved Shannon right.
And, well, we just ate recently at the farmer's market.
We picked the deviled
diner.
egg.
We both had the deviled eggs. So,
All right.
We're tied up now.
Tied up.
All right. So for the appetizer
This
section,
was a tough one.
what'd you go with, Matt? For me,
For you, I felt like you would see this and you would just go there. Butter and salt. Lemon, poppy seed butter, Maldoon salt, radish loaf baguette.
that would be delicious. But I chose for myself the meats because that's awesome. I'd at
That
least
was-
do like
yeah.
3 for $14, and I'd get some bresaola and some iberico.
I overthought myself on that one.
Yeah, I definitely go that. But for you, because I know you like your greens, and we talked about it earlier, I ordered you the mandatory green salad.
I would have went with the roasted cauliflower soup.
You're not doing well.
Nope.
All right, this is the last one.
Last
the
one,
entree.
Entree.
Go ahead.
So I went totally rote here. And I figure if it's the first time I'm eating at this restaurant, trying to stay on the healthy tip, for me, I'm ordering the salmon.
I said that you would order the salmon.
Yeah, I knew you were going to
Boom.
get that one. I almost tried to like not pick that one because I knew you would get it, but I was like, that's unjust.
What do you think I was going to
And
get?
so I thought you would kind of do the same thing, and you would just go with the alley burger.
Alley Burger,
Boom.
baby. All right. So
We're tied at 2.
2-2.
Stay tuned
Chuck
for the
Woolery.
next segment of Max
I
and
don't
Matt
even know you
Shoes.
anymore. That's what it's got to be called.
I don't even know you anymore.
So thanks to Bauscher, Hep, and Luigi Bormioli for all the glassware and the cool plates.
And thank you, Shannon, for the commentary there. That was like added bonus.
We try.
No.
So I was actually paying attention to myself and not you, what you were doing.
I'm just going to drink out of your glass because
Yeah,
you didn't give
please.
me any straws.
All right, I like you opted for the big cube. You're already winning in my book.
You had a big cube look about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I totally like got like the sissy drink here.
Well,
Like the Sally drink.
Well, you looked confident. I
I am.
I thought you were.
I can drink a pink drink and be happy about it.
I love when guys come into the bar or women come in. I want something girly. I'm like, most of the ladies that drink here order Manhattans. Is that what you consider girly? Because I can make you one of those.
Manhattan, have you had one?
I want you to think less of me, so just make me something horrible.
People come in with like kind of perceptions of what the bar is about, and I think every woman I've ever had bartend at Alley 26 always gets asked, "So are you Shannon?" And then here's the punchline is like, not only do they get that, they get after that they get Shannon's a guy. Oh, are you his wife? I'm like, are those the only two options?
Yeah.
There's 27 of us here. Really? There's just the two things they could be.
You mean there's 27, not 26?
There's 27 employees now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude.
It might actually be more than that.
This is delicious.
Yeah, like
Thanks.
riff on a Boulevardier kind of thing?
Riff on an old-fashioned.
Okay.
In fact,
What was your main spirit?
let's call it an old-fashioned.
Okay.
I used this. I've never heard of it before. Elijah Craig, I think it's
I
called.
don't never know.
We always leave a seat for Elijah.
Yes.
That's good thinking. It's an old-fashioned, so it's just sugar, bitters, booze, water.
It's delicious,
lemon.
man.
The lemon peel is what you're getting all that lemon from.
Yeah.
I used the bitters that were here that I'd never seen before. These tiki bitters.
Yeah.
The crude tiki.
Crude tiki.
Oh, that's a whole
Tiki
interesting
thriki.
Yeah.
tiki bitters in an old fashioned. That's
Well,
that's
I
kinda
love
cool.
pineapple with bourbon.
Yeah.
I think those two really like each other, and who am I to stand in the way?
Mm-hmm.
So that was like, oh, okay. And we just kept it simple because, when you're playing on not your home court, it's best to keep it by the numbers.
Yeah, there you go.
Smart way of thinking too. Well, let's talk about LA 26. So you're doing Dinner with Friends.
Yes, Dinner with Friends is a series of 5-course paired tasting dinners. So at the bar anyway, if you come in to the bar and you open the menu, the first page is 4 items from the food menu, 4 items, 4 cocktails paired.
Nice.
So
nice.
we're not trying to sell wine. Some folks would resent that, but we sell.
You sell a lot of wine for somebody who doesn't want to sell wine.
Well, we sell a lot of whatever we sell because we
Right.
have so few of them. So, like, in order to keep the conversation, like, I love wine. Like, it's my first love, booze-wise. First, like, intellectual love in alcohol was definitely wine.
Funny sidebar. When I've been in Durham at wine authorities, who do I see there buying wine for the family, like in between shifts? Probably right after you went to the ABC store to pick up booze for the restaurant, you were picking up wine for the family.
Yeah. Well, they have. This is a shameless plug for wine authorities. They have great boxes of wine.
Yeah.
They have Baccarat in box.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Oh, it's my favorite. Yeah, and it's like $40 or whatever.
Yeah,
but-
it's like
For like
but
3
it's like-
liters or
yeah,
something.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's like, it's real wine. Like
Yeah.
you taste it, like that's real wine.
Yeah.
That's the way I think. I'm hoping like screw cap bottles of wine. When that started, people were like, oh, that's crappy wine because it's in screw cap. You're like, no, Stelvin enclosure, blah blah blah. You had to convince them, and now everybody's on board.
But now that we have good wine in Stelvin and then good wine in box, it makes tons of sense because you can leave that in your fridge or on the counter or whatever, and you don't get all the oxygen, and it stays fresh for quite a long time.
It
Stays fresh longer than it would last in my house.
and you don't pay for all that recycling.
Yep.
Like because
Yeah.
what you're paying for with a bottle with like vodka or whatever the any white spirit, the most expensive part of that is the glass. and the label. Like the package it comes in is far more expensive than the spirit for a white spirit. And wine, it's expensive too. But anyway,
So let's get back to
you were saying,
dinner with friends.
So dinner with friends, we focus on pairing food and cocktails. That's our thing. That's the bars. That's our shtick. We started as a cocktail bar. Now we're a cocktail bar that has a restaurant attached to it. / we serve food. And why do we do that? You were asking earlier, like, oh, that's what you learned from Brinker. It's really like when I first did business plans to open my own bar, I always had a small kitchen in the plans. Always thought I would. But then when you're raising money and you realize how much a kitchen costs, you're like, well, I don't have a kitchen.
Right.
We opened the doors and I didn't have all my furniture yet. I was like, we can't be closed anymore.
Right.
You open when you open. Like, I don't have backers doing this. Like, it's I have friends that loan me money, but that's the amount of money they loan me. They're like, let me know if you need more. That's not, like, if you need more, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
No, it's like, so they trusted me with their money and I borrowed the money I needed and we did what we could, but I scrapping a kitchen was the easiest decision I had to make, but I always wanted one. And then once we opened as solely a cocktail bar with we always served charcuterie and we always served cheese plates and such.
Like anything you could do without a hood.
Anything we could do that was like we could prep earlier and you were just plating and serving. We did that kind of stuff, and it's all really great stuff, and we still do that stuff on our menu now, but now we added a kitchen because people wanted to, we had the donut hole. Like people would come after work sometimes, although North Carolina is not the biggest happy hour scene because they made those words illegal because you can't legally have happy hour. You can't discount drinks at any time of the day, specific time of the day. So there's no happy hour, so to say. But anyway, there's a little after work pop. Then you have like a lull when people go to dinner, and then you get busy later. And I'm like, well, if we can only fill that lull, that donut hole of business with people eating, this would be so much better. We could be, because I got to pay rent the whole time I'm open. I might as well be having people butts in the seats. And so Carrie stopped working at Bar Virgile, and then I knew she was available, and I thought getting the kitchen open was going to be, less than half the amount of time it took. So I was like, maybe you could help me over here doing this little thing. And P.S. I'm gonna put a kitchen.
Yeah, because Carrie was there for a long time before you actually opened the restaurant.
Over a year before we actually had the full kitchen, but which is good because I would show her the plans for it and we would talk about it. And I beg her to read the plans over. I'm like, look, every kitchen you've ever been in, you've always looked around where the equipment was, and you're like, what moron thought this was going to be a good idea? So when you have that thought in your own kitchen, you're the moron.
Yeah.
P.S. You're going to have that thought no matter what you do, but you might as well think about it now.
Yeah. It's never gonna be perfect, but if you can make it close,
if you can get those things that have always bothered you about kitchens, like, come on.
And that was also your thing when you designed the cocktail bar initially.
Yes.
Like you had everything. I remember coming in one day to like talk to you about booze or wine. I can't remember. And you were telling me like, well, this guy with the plans, he wanted to give me more space and he couldn't understand the concept that like, I'm a bartender. I need everything to be able to be reached by hand.
The whole idea of a cockpit was completely foreign to this guy. So there's an old saying in bars that all bars are designed by Baptists. Because every time you get behind a new bar, you're like, who thought this was a fucking good idea?
Right.
Who's the moron that designed this? Oh, somebody who clearly does not drink.
Yeah.
Just thought this would be a good layout for a bar. All of them. So you send your drawings to the equipment guy, and he has AutoCAD, and he'll put all he'll use the specs from the manufacturer to put the things on the drawing. He kept changing what I told him to do, and after the second time, I'm like, I'm going to go down there tomorrow. I'm going to sit next to you, and I'm going to tell you where every piece of equipment goes.
Yeah.
I didn't ask him to do it. I told him where to put everything, and he kept fixing it.
This is my artistic interpretation.
No, he's like, you need more space here, and you need more of this.
No,
I'm like,
I don't.
No, dude, you've never worked at any of the bars you designed, so you still think these are good ideas. These are terrible ideas. So during the course of our conversation where I'm sitting next to him, and now 3 different times, he said, I still don't understand what we're doing here. And I just looked at him. I'm like, we've established that.
Yeah.
So now, are you going to take this job or not? Like, are you going to put the next...
I'm paying you.
Just do it. Like, one of us knows about...
Even if you think it's wrong, I'm paying you, so do it anyway.
We're going to do it. So he had me stand on a 3x5 mat because I only wanted 3 feet from the front to the back, like the minimum. so I could reach things. I'm not the biggest dude. Like, I don't know. As Mariani once told me, hey, man, you got to work on your wingspan. I'm like, I don't think that's something I can work on, Rob.
He's probably got a foot on you with the wingspan.
Oh,
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
He's got more
He's
than
a tall
foot on me.
guy.
Yeah, he's got a foot on me in the height up and down. Are you kidding me? Like, yeah, he's tall. So, yeah.
So cut to the kitchen.
So-
Are there still times when Carrie goes, man, why the fuck is that there?
No, yeah, there's why the fuck isn't that there? But a lot of it's like, yeah, that's the equipment I already had, and we can't buy any more yet.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like, she knows what she'd fix, but I'm like, yeah, the budget's not there. Sorry.
Right.
At any rate, Dinner with Friends is this series that showcases what we do. Which is,
well, you've been raising money for the World Central Kitchen, which is a nonprofit run by Jose Andres.
yeah, so like if you watch the news after Hurricane Maria,
Yeah.
like the organization that was down there that has served well over 3 million meals at this point is World Central Kitchen, which Jose Andres, who just won the humanitarian award from the Beard Foundation this year for this exact work that we're raising money for. So we wanted to do something like charity driven. Like I knew we wanted to do that, and we were shooting around ideas and blah blah blah. And then when I thought about World Central Kitchen, I'm like, as food and beverage people, as hospitality people, there's I can't think of anything we can be more proud of. Like the work he has done, and by using like the core areas of competence of people in hospitality, on food trucks in Puerto Rico, chefs coming out of everywhere to lend a louder voice on social media and stuff. Like some of those big chefs don't actually, they're not in the trenches, but they're letting people know that it's happening, and that work is important too. You have to raise the money.
Their influence really helps out.
Helps out. So, but he's been in Haiti since 2010. And they're still there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What I wanted to do and make it by making it a year-long series, and once a month we'll have somebody come in from someplace else, throughout the South. We had the Cocktail Bandits come in from Charleston. We had Bob Peters come in from Charlotte. This month we have Brad Farron, who worked a lot in New York but is now living here.
Yeah, he was at Death & Co. in New York and
Clover Club.
And he's a local now.
And now he's back to being a local. He's from here originally.
How do you top that? What, like, are you going to get the original Johnny Walker to come make cocktails?
He's been dead for a few hundred years, but
now they're coming out with a female version of the Johnny Walker line. So maybe she's
Joan Walker.
So maybe she
it's
can
not a joke. That's a real thing. It's called like Joan Walker. I want to think or Jane Walker.
Jane Walker.
It's called Jane Walker. It's Scotch for ladies, which
I hate
is
everything
so pandering
about that.
and horrible.
I really hate everything about that. They have Scotch for ladies. It's called Scotch. I have plenty of lady friends that like Scotch, and plenty that don't, and they drink other things.
Well, that's the funny thing, and pardon me for saying this, but you probably did too, Max, admit it, watch the movie Bad Moms, and the funny part is they go to the bar and they order Scotch.
Right.
So women drink Scotch.
No, but people come in. Well, let me get back to what I was saying, and then I'll piggyback on that.
Please.
It's really interesting. Anybody who thinks that men and women aren't treated differently has never worked with the public at all. But we decided to do this series, and I wanted to do it all year long because once Maria and Puerto Rico is out of the news cycle,
they'll just forget
City
about it.
Still doesn't have power and water at all of, even in the capital. The whole city doesn't have power and water yet. And FEMA's gone, or debugging, and now Jose Andres' his thing is still there. They're lessening their presence as well because there's only so much money they have. But they're still in Haiti, and they're still going to be in Puerto Rico for a long time. So they stick around places long after the news cycle. So I wanted to continue raising money and awareness, and mostly awareness, quite frankly, for an organization that's still doing good work. Because they're still in Haiti, and they're not doing, it's not disaster relief. It's
practical relief.
It's working on educating people about food cycles and how to properly, how food safety and all these other things, so that if there is something that breaks, it's not like they're starting from the dark ages. They're starting with nothing. They have talent and knowledge on the ground now.
Yes,
and that's what World Central Kitchen is about to me, because they started as DC Central Kitchen, and they were just in Washington DC, and they would take uncooked prepared foods from restaurants and serve it in food shelters, and teach people how to cook and teach people how to get jobs in F&B and back of house.
Okay.
So they would help homeless people get jobs.
I see.
So it was always an educational component to
not being a Band-Aid, but actually kind of fixing it
an underlying
so it's
problem.
not a continual problem.
First, you got to apply the Band-Aid. Like,
Yeah.
in Puerto Rico, after Maria, you just got to feed people.
Right.
But after that, like in Haiti, after the earthquake in 2010, you just got to feed people. But after you start feeding them, then you teach the people that are feeding them how to feed people.
Right.
And how this can be a career, and how to do it safely, and how to do it professionally. And all of a sudden now you've not only fed people,
building infrastructure,
you've taught
that
a man
can
to fish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. So that's fantastic.
Nice.
And so it is always the last Monday of every month.
Yes.
Contrary to what some people might have said about
yeah.
Sunday.
No.
It's the last Monday. So the 26th of this month, so just in a couple weeks, like next week, based off of the release of this episode, you will have Brad Farron bartending behind the stick, if you will.
As you will, yeah.
And making drinks that are paired for 5 courses, you said?
So he'll do 3 and I'll do 2.
Cool.
So we always do it together. It's dinner with friends, after all.
Yeah.
And then Carrie will pair 5 courses. So
Yeah.
we'll have 5-course paired menu all the way through. So usually we'll get Brad in this case, or the ladies last month, or Bob previously, and next month it's Nick Dietrich from Cane and Table in New Orleans.
Oh, wow.
And Cure.
Very cool.
So, and then we'll pair them with a spirits book. Like they'll pick spirits from all, like, so Brad is working with Copper and Kings. Are we allowed to say these things?
Of course. Yeah, a good friend of the podcast,
Outstanding.
Mr. Alex Flynn.
Alex
yes.
Flynn.
Okay,
yeah.
so Alex will be there as well, representing Copper and Kings. We're doing it in conjunction with USBG. So the USBG's Raleigh Durham chapter, I like to call it the Raleigh and Durham chapter, is you could tell a Raleigh guy named that. So the USBG's Raleigh and Durham chapter is a co-host of this event, and I'm a member. We are a nonprofit. So we get support and donations from all of these folks. Like the Durham Hotel donates a room, so these out-of-town guests have a place to stay.
Oh, cool.
Food purveyors have helped us. Blue Sky Farms, Boxcar Farms, the cheesemakers, Halpern, I believe.
So you're getting a lot of community help. That's really cool.
A lot of community. Parlor just donated the dessert course last time. A lot of community help. I wish I had my list cheat sheet to name drop all these people.
That's fine, but for more information, you can go to alley26.com.
.com, exactly, and all of our sponsors and all of our, because it's a huge.
What are tickets typically?
They're $95.
Yeah.
Plus tax and tip.
That needs to be that because it's a donation. I mean, you're trying to help out an area.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
For $100 with tax and tip, you're looking at like $125, $130 when you're out the door.
Exactly.
But that's. I mean, you're
But you
getting
get
5
fed,
courses
drunk.
of food and drink.
The first one I haven't done the math on the second one yet. The first one, I think we got like $80 a head to charity.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
That's amazing.
we get a lot of donations, and we try to keep, like, I don't make any money on it. We spend money on it. Like,
Sure.
we spend money printing stuff and doing all kinds of stuff and we'll probably end up buying an ad for it eventually. And we try to do that out of what we can afford to spend.
Yeah.
So I'm trying my best to get all of the money. And Carrie does a bang-up job harassing her vendors as well to see if we can get things donated. And, the Durham community, food community, has been really, really, really supportive of the idea. We're hoping that we can continue to do it every month and count on their support.
Yeah.
But
I mean, anybody that's a food purveyor that's listening to the show and wants to help out and be a part of it, contact Shannon.
Please do.
Please
Alley
do.
26. You can
Go in
contact
for a
me.
cocktail and talk to him about it.
Please.
All right,
please.
let's switch subjects real quick. I want to know, how is your brother, actor, writer Thomas Lennon doing nowadays? Because if you two are not a spitting image of each other
I've never seen that picture
from
before.
the state or Reno 911, he would be the guy in the short shorts.
Short shorts. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think I can
Ever
rock the
since
short
I've
shorts
met
quite
you-
as convincingly.
But ever since I've met you, it's the only thing I can think of is that you and Thomas Lennon, and we'll put it up on our show notes and maybe even an Instagram side by
Okay.
side. But am I wrong, Matt? Is there a
I
similarity?
don't know if you didn't. I mean, there's definitely a similarity with the look, the eyes,
The
but like
eyes,
if you
the
took
nose,
away
the mouth.
if you took away the beard, I'm not sure.
I don't know, man.
Shannon's got better hair,
Or lack thereof.
facial hair.
So, Shannon, before you go, guests of the NC F&B podcast now get fantastic swag bags
hey.
of fantastical things. That's a little 6-pack bag from the Triangle Wine Company, one of our fantastic sponsors. But inside said bag, you will find Michael's English muffins from Miss Annabelle Commissar, freshly baked yesterday. We have a bottle of Social House vodka. We have a Ramona grapefruit wine cooler. You got a little bottle from the NC F&B. And then you also have fantastic personal roasted coffee from 42 and Lawrence via Larry's Beans.
Those are flavor notes. I thought this was flavored. It's not. There's just flavor notes. Strawberry, hibiscus, pecan. That sounds delicious as notes.
And then also, because Bauscher and Luigi Bormioli and Hep are a helper, this is a 6-pack of white IPA glassware that you get to have for yourself.
Wow.
A little 6-pack. And fantastic glassware for your personal home use. And
These gifts are all made possible thanks to the NCF&B gift bag sponsors.
Well, this is. I'm so sorry I did not come prepared for a number of reasons that we discussed before I got here.
That's okay. Send the Alley 26 to my tonic to my house.
To your house? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I really just for truth, I feel a little guilty about using you like this. I really only did this podcast for the hat.
Dude, I totally get it.
Gotta be honest with you.
Totally get it.
You got to keep that head out of the sun. I get it. So, anyhow.
People ask me why do you always wear a hat? I'm like, I don't have hair. And also, you can get our tonic at any number of bottle shops and retail stores across the state of North Carolina.
Bing! No, but I think that's a good place to go out, right?
I have one more question.
All right.
I have one more question. Do you really judge people in a post-apocalyptic world, or was that just a cool shit to say to a magazine reporter?
Judge people I don't know what you're talking about.
You're quoted in Our State magazine as
a lovely thing in Our State magazine.
Yeah, as saying, whenever I meet people, I judge them in a post-apocalyptic world, and saying if we were in that world,
what use would you be?
Yeah, what use would you be?
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know that I always do, but yeah, I think everybody does. Like if somebody says,
I think about it.
Yeah, somebody says, I think there's a huge need for interior design in our world, but post-apocalyptic, maybe that's not the skill set that you take over Hunter.
I'm thinking podcast host is not high on the level either.
I mean, there would be entertainers necessary at some point, right?
Exactly.
Like after survival, like once you're sitting at night eating, there would need somebody to be. Yeah,
and somebody's going to rearrange the fire. So what do I know?
Or how do we know where's the warmest part to sit? By the fire.
We're the court jesters of the post-apocalyptic world. Yeah, learn a trade, MFers. Yeah.
How about thought provokers?
No, it goes like this. Doctors are the most important in a post-apocalyptic world, as Walking Dead will tell you.
Okay, I've never seen the show, but
carpenters and builders are the next because they can
do shit.
They can get you like the infrastructure, and then like scientists, people that understand like this is how we can distill some water or like clean water, and this is how we can do. And then I'd put chefs up there or people involved in the culinary world because you have to be able to eat.
But in a post-apocalyptic world, it's hunters though. Like it's not chefs. It's getting the actual food.
Yeah, but if you don't know how to eat it without like killing yourself,
then, you need to know how to cook. I mean, you don't need.
Isn't that where the scientists come in?
Don't get me wrong. You don't need like John May or anything. You just need someone that knows a little bit about
how to kick a man while he's down.
I really need to hear the backstory on the John May beef.
I love John May. No,
clearly, I like we're Matt Damoning. Oh, okay, I get
it. Yeah, I don't know, Matt. There's not a lot of hope for us. Like. I can play guitar, kind of, and I speak into a microphone.
I'm a great listener.
I'm extra average.
Great listener.
I'll be the counselor of the group.
I'm a great listener.
Yeah. All I know is high ground, fortify those walls. Try to get like in a...
I'm pretty strong. I can lift things. Move things around.
Oh, good.
I could definitely help. Yeah,
you'd be
useful. I think that
I love how on Walking Dead, like they look so down upon those that drink, and they go, "Are you kidding me? If you were in a post-apocalyptic world, all everybody would be doing is sucking down bourbon."
Seriously. And on that note, You don't have to be in a post-apocalyptic world to go suck down some bourbon, but fuse it in an awesome cocktail. And now you can get some food, and when you get hungry, go to Alley 26 in Durham. Say hi to Mr. Shannon Healy
He'll tell
and the rest
you
of his staff.
if you're worthy or not to live in a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah, how would he be useful? How would you be useful?
I don't think I make the cut.
Sorry, software engineer, you're dead.
You can read a 41-page lease. I'm not sure how that helps, but you're a detailed man, obviously. So
lawyers are the first to go.
Just out of spite.
Go have Shannon or Rob or Cameron or Carrie cook you up some food or have a cocktail mix, and you will eat and drink extremely merrily.
Guests of the NC F&B podcast receive a swag bag including gifts from these rockstar North Carolina producers: Larry's Beans and 42 in Lawrence, Social House Vodka, Ramona Wine Coolers, and Michael's English Muffins. Thanks for listening to the NC F&B podcast. And if you've stuck with us this long, review us on iTunes, and remember, 5 stars are encouraged.